I'm Alan Robarge, a relationship coach. Welcome to Improve Your Relationships, where I like to talk about attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. And on this video, let's talk about how you cannot end your relationship and you're feeling stuck and you're feeling paralyzed. And you might have obsessive thinking where your mind is like a ping pong going back and forth between stay, go, stay, go, stay, go. And it's this looping mind, this obsessive looping mind that is creating confusion and fueling confusion on top of confusion and reinforcing inaction and staying stuck in your bad relationship. And perhaps your relationship, we could think of it, it's unhealthy, it's dysfunctional, it's hurtful, it's abusive, it's full of resentment, there's contempt. Maybe the relationship is not that bad. It's a pretty middle of the road, ordinary relationship. Might not be the greatest relationship you've ever had. Your partner's pretty much an okay person. You're an okay person. And at the end of the day, it's over. You don't want to be with this person. You don't want to be in this relationship, but you can't leave. You're stuck. And then what's going on here? The point of this video is to look at the mind games that we play with ourselves, the faulty thinking, the rationalizations, the justifications, and how we use our own thoughts against us. And this keeps us stuck. And for this video specifically, we're going to talk about hyper-analyzing details and how we get lost in the story and we weave story on top of story and we take rather insignificant things and we blow them out of proportion and we assign meaning to it. We fuel projections. It's almost like we're gossiping internally to ourselves. We're gossiping about what happened and we have this running commentary of who said what, when, and who did what, and why didn't this happen, and I didn't get the text, and he went out to lunch with his coworker, and then she didn't even call back, and then her friend said this, and we did that, and 3 weeks ago, he said that he wanted to go on a cruise and go on vacation. You don't want to end a relationship if you want to go on a cruise. Why are you promoting hanging out together in the future and making plans for the summer if you're planning on ending the relationship? This is totally mixed messages. But then she texted, then I got a text where I found out that she said that she was going to go on a work conference over the summer. She's going to a workshop over the summer and taking vacation, and so then she's not going on the cruise. So what does this mean? And I just don't understand. So you see how it just keeps going. It's just, and your style might be different. It might not be the same sort of soap opera-esque style that I present here. But the mind, we have a monkey mind quality, and this has an added layer beyond the randomness of monkey mind. There's an urgency to solve something. It feels like we're on a game show and the clock is ticking and there is a riddle in front of us, and the riddle is our relationship, and we're supposed to order all of these pieces of information. And we have lost our ability to sort through what is insignificant and what is minor and what is actually something important to look at. So what we're doing is just grasping at everything, and the most minute, the most minor thing becomes a big deal. And then we obsess about that and weave some story about what that might or might not mean. Well, there's a function of, there's a byproduct to this. I mean, what is fueling it, the initial goodness of this is we're just trying to figure out what the heck is going on in our relationship. But we're unable to draw a conclusion to say, I can't figure it out, and at this point I'm giving up figuring it out, and to even say, there's nothing to figure out. It's not a good relationship. I'm over. I don't need to monitor, all of these disparate, very disconnected, multiple pieces of information and keep working and reworking and reworking through trying to make sense of something. And it's that idea of, trying to, get something from nothing. I mean, nothing's here. It's over. The relationship is over. But we find ourselves, instead of being able to exhale into, to surrender into the reality that it's over, we just get hooked back into the swirling and the churning of our mind, creating story on top of story on top of story. And this actually is very painful because it makes us a puppet to our own mind and creates a lot of anxiety and churn. The physical manifestation of this is that it churns anxiety. And as our mind churns, our stomach's churning, or we're feeling this very unsettledness, this distress. So if you want to leave a relationship and take a break from this approach of the hyper analyzing the details, you can start to think about it's time to leave, and you need to focus on some very clear thoughts or clear focus of how you're going to leave this relationship. Number one is you need a self. You need a stronger sense of self to be able to walk out the door. You can't walk out the door if you're not all here. So this idea of if you don't have a self means you're not fully present. You're enmeshed in your relationship. You're lost in your relationship. You're not differentiated. So to strengthen a sense of self and to begin to envision a life beyond the current relationship, and who are you becoming? Who are you going to be? What is the next chapter? Which brings me into the next point of, if you want to leave, you need a vision and you need a plan. The vision is where are you going, and the plan is how are you going to get there. And I mean this very concretely. Sit down with a piece of paper, make a list of what you need to do in order to take care of business so that you can get out of your current situation and move forward with your life. The other thing that you need is agency, which is a sense of will. It's the question, what can I do? How can I make this happen? How do I have energy to direct energy? Motivation, this idea of being motivated, is a kind of initial spark. And agency is the energy it takes to maintain the spark and to build momentum and to make something happen. Agency is the ability to make something happen. So, for example, if a person does not have agency but they're looking for a job, chances are they're not going to find a job. You need a sense of will and confidence, and you have to be proactive and show up and go on an interview, have your resume polished, look great, and you go out and you get the job. It's the opposite of being passive. Agency is very active. So you also need to think about something that can hold you up, is that you can get sucked into your grief and implode around your grief, and that will take away your energy so that you feel lethargic and like that you're not going to be able to move forward. So what this means is you need boundaries around your grief. It is very good to move into your sadness. It's very good to go through some stages of grieving and make sense of this loss and that the relationship is over. You also need to have boundaries to know how to put that on hold and focus on the vision and the plan and taking your stronger sense of self and asserting your ability to move forward and leave. And then lastly, something to think about to end this relationship is you have to be willing to move into the unknown. You have to be willing to relinquish, to let go of control. You ultimately do not have control how this is going to end. You do not have control on when and how you're going to land on your 2 feet and how you're going to come out on the other side. Now, you might encounter some bumpy moments. You might encounter some obstacles. Life might throw you a curveball that will make things challenging and difficult. That's what you're signing up for. That's the reality that we all have to face when it's time to end a relationship. We err on the side of being positive. We err on the side of being hopeful. And we say things will work out. you find some resources, find some people, a support network, and you make a solid plan and you move forward, and we hope it works out where you land on your 2 feet. But in order to make that happen, you also have to be willing to enter the unknown and to give up your sense of control of how this whole thing is going to work out. That's a component of grief. That's a component of ending. Ending means it really ends, and that also means you give up controlling how it's going to look, what your partner's going to do, the type of closure that you're going to get, the type of goodbye conversations you're going to have. It really means you let it move into the unknown. You don't know how it's going to unfold. So I hope that this was helpful, this video about hyper-analyzing details and getting lost in the story. If you like this video and want to watch others just like it, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And then also to learn more about me and also the community membership website that I'm creating, you can go to my website, which is alanrobarge.com. Thank you for watching.